We are honored to have Mr. Frederick Downs as our first witness. He is currently the Chief Prosthetics and Clinical Logistics Officer for the Veterans Health Administration, Department of Veterans Affairs, headquartered here in Washington, D.C. Mr. Downs manages a nationwide $1.3 billion prosthetics and sensory aids program that furnishes assistive aid and services to nearly 2 million veterans with disabilities. Mr. Downs served in Vietnam, where he was severely injured, losing his left arm above the elbow. He has 4 Purple Hearts and was inducted into the Officer Candidate School Hall of Fame at Fort Benning Infantry School. We are honored to have you here. Thank you for your service to our country, and we look forward to your testimony.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the invitation to discuss the Department of Veterans Affairs relationship with independent prosthetic contractors and our efforts to ensure continuity of care for our veteran amputees returning from combat. I would ask that my written statement be entered into the record. VA furnishes prosthetic services to enrolled veterans as part of the Department's medical benefits package. This includes sensory aids for those who meet VA's eligibility criteria. Our prosthetic devices include an array of items from appliances, parts, or accessories that are necessary to replace, support, or substitute for a deformed, weakened, or missing anatomical portion of the body. Our Office of Prosthetics has a long tradition of using an extensive network of VA laboratories and contract prosthetic labs to provide prosthetic and orthotic devices. We operate 61 prosthetic labs, and each one of them is accredited by one of the 2 national accrediting bodies, which was mentioned. And we also hold our contract lab, our contract prosthetists that we do the contracts with, those over 600, to the same standards. In fact, we held them to those standards before we adopted them. So it's always been a tradition that we required certification from our contract prosthetists for them and their labs. We contract with over 600 independent labs, as we said, and that provides, by the way, about 97% of the total limbs. And there's a misperception that VA fabricates most of the limbs, and that's not true at all. We only fabricate at the most 3% of the limbs that are provided to America's veterans. Now, to keep our people up to speed in prosthetics, we hold our conferences concurrent with and endorsed by the American Academy of Orthotists and Prosthetists during their annual meeting and their scientific symposium. This annual meeting is attended by approximately 2,000 prosthetists. Many of these are small business owners and VA contractors. Our goal is to improve communications and interaction with all members of the independent prosthetic community. Many small business owners in the field of prosthetics are members and supporters of this annual conference. This forum presents a unique opportunity to enhance the relationship between the private sector and VA. Small businesses, including the VA contractors, are invited to present their products and attend these scientific presentations. Businesses are provided exhibit tables or space that enables them to meet and interact directly with VA physicians, administrators, therapists, orthotists, and prosthetists. We believe it is a model of professional and business interaction with government. Our network of providers reaches the most rural areas throughout the country to bring quality care to the veteran. Currently, those 600 contractors we have across the country provide access to necessary care close to their home, whether in a rural or urban area. In fiscal year 2007, as was mentioned before, we provided prosthetic services to 1.6 million unique veteran patients. And I would like to add that once we accept one of our wounded veterans or soldiers into our system, we have them for the rest of their lives. In my case, that's been 40 years. And we'll take care of those veterans until they die with prosthetics. And as they grow older, they need more prosthetics as their body functions begin to deteriorate. From the beginning of the war through current to the end of the year 2007, 300,000 of the Iraqi-Afghani vets have returned and sought care from VA. From the nearly 800 veterans who were treated for major amputations within the Department of Defense, VA Prosthetics has provided services to over 200 of these major amputees last year, and our data shows that we're going to double in this fiscal year as our discharge from DoD care and come into the VA care. We've implemented several initiatives to assist the OEF service members as they transition into VA care. Our VA prosthetic staff, case managers, and social workers have regular contact with the program officials responsible for the various benefits a veteran may be eligible to receive. Running out of time here. Want to add one important thing is that we've just recently signed a contract with the Amputee Coalition of America to furnish amputee peer visitation programs at all of our 21 VISN integrated service networks. This program is designed to assist individuals and their families coping with a variety of injuries. It will allow enhanced networking among our patients with amputations to include sharing of information regarding access to prostate care in the VA. In addition, we work in concert with DoD to provide specialized items such as hand cycles, personal digital assistance, and vehicle modifications, which DoD is not able to provide. So even though these soldiers are still active duty, we work with Walter Reed and with Brooke Army to make sure that these active duty soldiers, as they're recuperating, are able to get the wheelchairs, hand bikes, and whatever they need in order to facilitate their recuperation. And if they go home and convalescent leave, even though they're still active duty, the local VA will provide all the prosthetic care they need. We'll continue to do that. We're always looking forward to new technologies as they're coming onto the marketplace. We want to be first in line to make sure that our vets have that available to them. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my statement. I am pleased to respond to any questions you or the committee members may have.